All right, right now in the five series, I'm gonna look at Cuban records. Five Cuban records that I love. I can't believe I haven't done an episode about Cuban records yet. All right, I woke up this morning, I was like, what? I haven't done Cuba. And I went through my back catalog and couldn't find it. So anyway, I guess I haven't done anything on Cuba, which is like crazy. But anyway, we're gonna kick it off with this record by Cachao. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Correct me if I'm wrong. This record, I was in a record store, and if you go to a record store regularly, I was in a record store in Brooklyn. They kind of tend to know your taste. And one of the workers came up to me and handed me this record. He said, "Man, you need to get this record, right?" And I was like, "Okay." And what they were asking for it, it wasn't really that cheap. It was like, I think it was like it's $18 or $20. I was like, really? And the cover wasn't really selling me on it. But he was a first generation Cuban. He goes, "This is the music that my dad played. And believe me, you would love it." And I was like, okay, I'm all about the authenticity. I said, okay, I'll give it a try. I bought it, loved it. And since then I bought a couple more Cachao, a few more Cachao records. He's a big deal Cuban musician from back in the day. He pioneered mambo, and he's a bassist, and he had his own like combo group, and he's just like a big deal in Cuban. If you're Cuban and watching this, then you're probably like, yeah, dude's a legend. But anyway, great record. Cuba. We're moving on quickly. Babalu Miguelito Valdez. This is like bolero vibes, smooth bolero, but Afro-Cuban at the same time. It gives you that it like pins down that kind of Cuban sound to me, that Afro-Cuban feel with that sort of Caribbean island lilt and those lazy horns. I love this record and I love this cover too. And he was also kind of a big deal too. Um, Arsenio Rodriguez, this guy, I think he's just legend of the legends. From what the research I did about this guy, he's just a pioneer in so many ways. This is straight up Afro-Cuban, but you would think this is straight from Western Africa. It's just hard, cold African rhythms, and this guy is crushing it. And he's blind, as you can see, and I don't know how much to really get into this guy, but all his music is pretty much amazing, and he's a pioneer too, and it's just complete and utter fire. It's this record. I'm telling you, cannot go wrong with that. La Lupe, the force of nature, La Lupe. When I first came here, I worked for a retail store. I knew nothing about Latin music really, and they never played any Latin music except La Lupe. They'd have that on blast. I'd be like, "What is that?" And I went and bought a CD, and I've been hooked ever since. All right, so she's kind of an intro to me into Latin music. She has a one of a kind voice, one of a kind attitude. She's a big personality, and as the theme is with these five records, she's a big deal when it comes to Cuban music. Don't get it twisted. La Lupe, larger than life. That's her thing. I love it. Anyway, Celia Cruz and Tito Puente. All right, the legendary Tito Puente isn't Cuban. I don't think that he's Cuban. Maybe I'm wrong. Puerto Rican, right? Celia Cruz, obviously Cuban. Legend of the legends. I've got other Celia Cruz records, right? But you know me, I'm all about the African rhythms, African beats, African grooves. And this is Celia Cruz and Tito Puente taking it way back to the motherland, all of our motherland, and bringing it with that African rhythmic, percussive, hard, bumping Latin vibe, if that makes sense, right? The funny thing is, I saw this record in a record store. I went to buy it. When I pulled it off of the turntable, the record snapped. So then I had to pay them for the record that I snapped. And then I went home and ordered it from Discogs for three times more than I'd have paid for it in the record store. That's how much I was caught up in the rapture of this record. Anyway, five Cuban records that I love. Hi-Fi Recluse, Good Fine Records. I can't believe I never tackled Cuba earlier on. Anyway, this is it. Let's get it.